Hello guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to deal with this contact form. This is what we are going to implement. So we are going to load the contact form using this URL. We are going to map the contact form using this URL, and then what I want us to do is when a user passes details over here, then me as an admin, me as the owner of this site, I'm going to receive these details. And in addition to that, I also want to send an automated message to the user, to the individual, rather the customer who sent that message, telling them that I acknowledge that I have received their message and I'm going to take care of their message as soon as possible. I thought that would be a better approach than just passing the details over here and then maybe saving the details on the admin, in which I usually see in most cases on many tutorials. So what I'm talking about is, so I'm going to show this by example to begin with. So assume I'm a customer with a name, let's say, Kate, uh, Kate John. Let's say an email. I'm going to use my email for the sake of testing. So let's say Klaus43g at gmail.com. Then let's say Kate Jones' phone number is +1 to 13 546 70, like that. By the way, this is a generic phone number. Then let's say their subject is I'm having an issue with checking out some products, and let's say they are sending me the message. I was trying to make a checkout using let's say PayPal, and I encountered a challenge. Please help me. Let's say that's their message and this is their subject. This is the actual email, their phone number and their name, and then they send a message. Send message. When they send that message, it will refresh and it will redirect them to the same page. In addition to that, me as the user, I'm using this is my user email. Me as the user, I'll get those details. Like you can see here, it's me, new contact form submission. Then from the individual who sent that message, in this case it's Kate John. Then on the message that I receive, the details of this message include the full name of that user, their email address, their phone number that we provided, the subject, and the message. I think this is better because you can jump to issues quickly rather than getting these messages on the admin and then you have to come here to the admin and then start refreshing to know whether a user sent you a message. So I opted to do this kind of an implementation. Now, in addition to that, I also want to send an email to this user, to the user who sent that message, telling them that, like in this case, I'm saying, hello, Kate John. Thank you for reaching out to us. This is to confirm that we have received your message. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. And then you can see this somehow well designed message. You see it's message received with a background of this navy blue color. It's well designed, and it's also coming from me. You see it's coming from my email. So assuming your business is something like shoe store, like the one like the one we're using over here. So you want the email you sending to that user to be like maybe like something like no reply at shoestore.com or maybe info at shoestore.com. This email it's like an acknowledgement telling them that we have received their email and we are going to get back to them as soon as possible. So that is what we're going to implement. So to do that, I'm going to go back to my code. I've already done this, so I'm just going to show you how. So the first thing we're going to do is to create a view function. Or even before we start by a view function, you remember the source code I sent you, the front end? Can you go to contact.html or whatever contact form you have? I just want you to open that code. So in this case, mine is contact.html. So just drag and drop to the dashboard. This is the code. Then what you want to access is the main class. The same way we were doing on these other classes. So essentially, this main class, it's this part without the header and the footer. So just get the main class and then delete the header and also the footer, and also delete this footer, delete this footer. So just copy this part of the code, then come to your app so in this case, where you have templates on shoes, create a new file called contact.html, like this contact.html, and then just paste your code. Just paste this main class dot this main class that you copied from here, this main class, just copy it and then just paste it. Sorry, just paste it over here. Then make sure that it's within a block content, like they have passed it over here, block content and block content. Then the main class is between. Then also remember to load static and also extend the partials base.html. Like I said before, this base.html contains the header and the footer. So we place the main class in between those two, like they have done it over here in a block content. Then after that, the next thing you're going to do is to get the URL and then make sure to create a view to load this template. It's quite easy. If you know how, if you have done Django for long, you know how to do this. I don't have to explain this. So essentially, just define contact form. Say define contact form. It's the one I'm using, or whatever name of the form you want to use. Then pass request. Then return render request shoes slash contact.html. Before you implement this part, just do this part first. So it's define contact form request, then return render request shoes slash contact.html. In this case, if I may just clarify, shoes, it's the folder name that contains the our contact.html. So it's a request. So you render in that HTML. Then after that, create a URL to map this contact.html. To do that, just go to URLs, your URLs. In this case, my URL is on app shoes. Then create a path contact, like they have done it over here. Path contact slash views.contact form. Here I'm getting the contact form we just created over here. This contact form, and then I'm providing a name contact in case I want to use this URL, as simple as that. Now if you have done that successfully, and also something else I should add, make sure that here on contact.html you have converted any static to add static tags. For example, let me show you an example. There's an example. Make sure that you convert these PNGs to a way that it understands it's to add a static tag to it. So simply, like the way I shown you, just click Control Shift P, then just use Auto Django. The way I shown you, just click Auto Django. They will be converted automatically. If you don't want to do that, you can just add them manually. If you don't have Auto Django, just install it from extensions. Auto Django. The way it is Auto Django, just search it on extension and install it. Now, once that is done, you should be able to render this form. You should be able to render this page with this form. Now, once that has been done, then I'm going to go back to my HTML. So the most important part here on this HTML part is this form, because this is what we are going to use. This is what contains the input fields that our users are going to pass, so that when they click submit, we are going to receive those details. So something I may insist on here on this form class, on this form, make sure that it has a method post. This method is the most important part here. Make sure that it has this method post, and also just below this form, make sure you have this CSRF token, or else you'll get a CSRF forbidden error, something like that. So make sure that you type it correctly the way I've typed it over here. CSRF underscore then token, and it's supposed to be with between this curly bracket and this percentage sign, they have typed it over here. Then the next part is make sure that on these input fields, these names are within the input field. For example, the name, full name, the name email, the name phone, the name subject, the name message, and any other additional detail you may have. For example, here full name, I may have, let's say, first name and last name. Make sure you have those names listed over here because you're going to use these details to get them on the view. So I just want to insist on that before you go to the view. Make sure the names are like this: name, full name, name email, name phone, name subject, name message, any other name you may have. Make sure that you remember these names. Then the other thing, make sure that here on the button class, you have a type submit so that when we click send message, we are going to post these details. I hope that is clear. Then the next part, we're going to go to the view. Now this is the part whereby we are going to create a function to get those details. So the way to do this, it's like really simple. It's just the request dot method is equals to post method. So here I'm saying if request dot method is equals to post. So initially, I hope you have rendered this correctly. If you have rendered this correctly, then implementing this part should be easy. So the way I'm saying this is if request dot method is equals to post. If request dot method, this method is equals to post, then what do I want to do? We want to get the full name. We also want to get the email. We also want to get the phone. We also want to get the subject, and we also want to get the message. So to do that, I set variable names, various variable names here. I'm saying full name, email, phone, subject, and message. So I'm saying full name is equals to request.post. So it's request.thisPost.get. I get the full name. This is the name I'm getting. This name, that's why I was insisting on it. So it's request.post.get. I get this full name. And then the same thing with the other fields. So in this case, it's the email, also the phone, also the subject, and also the message. So it's request.post.get full name, request.post.get email, request.post.get phone, and also request.post.get subject, and also request.post.get message. It's quite easy. So if you have any additional field, let's say you have an additional field called, let's say last name, it should be the same over here. It should be maybe something like last name is equals to request dot post dot get then that last name, like that, to get that detail. So I'm going to delete this because I don't want it. I hope that is clear and it's easily understandable. I was going to set it the way it was initially. Then after that, what we want to do next is we want to compose an email. We want to compose an email to the admin. In this case, the admin is me. It's me, the individual who is in charge, me, the individual in charge of the site. So what I want to do is I want to compose a message and also an email subject. In this message, I want to compose, let me show you by example. In this case, I'm using this email. This is one of my email. I'm using this email as the admin, adami6223@gmail.com. So what I want to get, so the messages, like you see, I'm saying message. The message is what I receive on my message. Yeah, message, it's full name. You can see full name. I get, full name. I get the full name. Email, I get the email. Phone, I get the phone. Subject, I get the subject. And message, also get the message. What I have defined over here with a formatted string. I'm saying formatted string. What do we call this? Whatever. So full name. I get the full name, I get this full name. Email, I get the email. So it's full name, then slash n. This is a new line, email, I get the email. Then new line, I get the phone. A new line, I get the subject. And then a new line with a name message, I get the message content. This message content I'm passing over here, quite simple. And then I'm also defining another field called email subject, also a formatted string. I'm saying new contact form submission from, then I get the full name of the individual sending me that message. So this email subject, it's this email subject, new contact form submission from. So you know when you get this email, you know it's coming from the contact page, so you can easily follow it through. I think it's quite good and quite easy to implement actually. Then once I define the message and the email subject, I want to send them to the admin. So the admin, it's me now. So I want to send it to my details. So to do this, I'm using something called send mail. You see, send mail, send underscore mail, then bracket, like the way I've done it over here. So for you to use send mail, you ought to do one importation. So let me just go to my importations over here. We'll send mail. This sending mail, you want this importation. So you want to say from django.core.mail, you want to import send mail, the way I've done it over here. From django.core.mail, import send mail. Also something you should import, because you're still going to import it. Make sure you import this email multi alternative. Also make sure you import this render to string. We are going to use them over here. Make sure you import sorry, it's render to string. What am I doing? Or like that. Make sure you have imported render to string, and also make sure you have imported email multi alternatives. So it's from django.core.mail, you import that email multi alternative, and then from django.template.loader, you import render to string. Those two things, and also remember to import the send mail. Okay, so let's go back to our code. So yeah, I'm saying for me to send the email to the admin, I'm saying send mail. Then I'm getting the email subject, this new contact form submission. Then I'm also getting the message, this message that I want to send to that user. And then I'm also specifying from and to. This one kind of confused me at first. Also, this one, make sure that you use your email. Don't use this email of mine. Make sure you use your email. If your email, it's let's say get@gmail.com. Make sure you use this email. So what I saw over here is when you're defining from and to, make sure that it's the same email, because you're sending that email to yourself. Actually, yeah, you're sending that email to yourself because it's coming from your site. So just say, like the way I've done it, it's like my email, adami6223@gmail.com, comma, and then also make sure that it's within this bracket, adami6223@gmail.com. To any individual you want to send that mail, I can also add another individual here, another email here. But I just want to have one, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Now once that is done, make sure that here you have provided your email on both fields. Then after that, I want to compose an email to the user. In this case, I want to send an automated response. This automated response, acknowledging that we have received their message, and that you received their message, and we are going to get back to them as soon as possible. So to do this, the way I figured it to do this is I'm using this render to string method. So I'm saying HTML content is equals to render to string. Then this render to string, then I use this response email.html. This is a template I created that contains that message I want to send to them. So I'm saying render to string emails slash response email.html. I've already created this. I will show you how I created it. I'm also going to provide the code for this on the below link. Then I'm getting the full name of that user. You can see full name, and then I'm also providing a text content that is. So I'm saying thank you for reaching out to us, This is to confirm that we have received your message. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. And then to send that automated response, I'm using email multi alternative, the one we imported on above. So I'm saying message is equals to email multi alternative. Then with a small message, message received. Then I get the text content, this text content. Then from and to, it's the same email. This automated response, I want to show them that it's coming from me. So the same way I did the above, so it's text content, other me6223 at gmail.com. Then two, it's I say email, like they have passed it over here. Then I want to attach this message, so I say message with this variable dot attach alternative. I attach the HTML content, and also I say that it's a text slash HTML. Then I send that message, so it's message dot send. Then here I have a success. Here I also added a success message. Now this one will be seen on my admin page. If I show my admin page, I was using that to test whether it's working correctly. If maybe a refresh over here, I don't know whether I'll have one. Yes, this one, your message has been sent. We'll contact you soon. You see, it's a success message. Your message has been sent. We'll contact you soon. Then after that has been done, where do I want to redirect the user? In this case, I'm redirecting them to this page. So I'm saying return, redirect, choose, contact. Make sure I've imported redirect. I'm sure that's easy. Let me just show you. Where's redirect? I should have redirect somewhere. Yeah, it should be over here like this. From Django.shortcuts, import render, and also make sure import redirect. Make sure that it has been imported. Then of course return render request shoes slash content.html. So I want to talk about two things now. One is this response.html. So for me to format my message the way I formatted it over here, you can see all this formatting. We have this, I have designed it very well. Here we have this background, and then we have this message received, and then it's getting that message. For me to format it the way, for me to do it the way I did it over here, on this response email, I created a response email. So let me just show you where it is. Or under templates, create a folder called emails. Then under the folder called emails, create a file called response email.html. This response email.html. I will attach this part of the code below. You don't have to type everything over here, but it's supposed to look like this. I have a HTML. I have the head. Then of course the body. In this body, I have a div class container. Then within this container, I have a div class header with the message received. I kind of repeated this part. I did not want to take chances, so you can just do it the same way I did it over here. Then the div class content, I say hello, then I get the full name. This is the full name I'm getting. Hello, full name. Then I also like copy paste this message over here. It won't make a difference, but just do it the same way I did it. In case one of them gets an error, thank you for reaching out to us. This is to confirm that you received the message. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Then you can also have a footer with the name of your company. In my case, it's shoe store. You can do whatever you want it. You can do whatever you want over here. If you want to use JavaScript, you can find that code to kind of get the date, the current date used in JavaScript. But I wanted to make it simple, so just you can just do it the way I've done it over here. Then under head, I define the style for the body, the container, the header, the content, and the footer. In this case, I'm setting the font family, the background color, the color of the text or on the body, the margin, and then the padding. Also that container, I'm also setting the background color, padding, border radius, box shadow. They have done it over here. The max width and the margin. You can change these to fit what you want. The same thing with the header. And the same thing with the content, and the same thing with the footer. Just make sure that this file has been rendered correctly. In my case, I have stored it under emails, under the folder emails, which is under templates. And also on my view, I'm specifying where it is correctly, emails slash response underscore email.html. Now, once that has been done, then only one thing remaining, because if you can see here, we are using Gmail SMTP. So the only thing remaining is for us to configure those details for the Gmail SMTP. So to do that, just go to settings. In this case, my settings, it's under the project Schuster settings. Just go to settings and then set these details the same way I've set them over here. The first detail you need is the email backend. It should be the way I've defined it over here. So the email backend should be django.core.mail.backends.smtp.email backend. Make sure that you have typed everything correctly, the same way I've done it over here. Then the email host should be smtp.gmail.com. Then the email port, it should be 587. Then the email use TLS, it should be true. Then you have to define the email host user and then the email host password. These are the most important part. Forget about this. You don't have to include this. So to get the email host user and email host password, yeah, I'm using config because I installed. If you've been following me correctly, then you remember we installed Decapo, Python Decapo. Then I'm installing these fields under .env. But if you don't want to do the same way I'm doing it, you can just pass those details over here. Let me just show you how. Now, where is it? So here you can just say, let me just copy this, paste it over here. So here instead of config, here you can say, let me also remove this field. Email host user. So the email host user, it's your admin email. In this case, mine this is my admin email. Then email host password, you're supposed to generate this from Google, from Gmail rather. I'm going to show you how. You can just pass them like this. So the password may be something like that, may be the password. Or alternatively, you can pass them the same way I passed them over here. That is if you're using Python decouple and you're installing those details under .env. So if you're using this method over here, the way I did it over here, like here I'm saying email host user is equals to config email host user. I'm getting email host user. Then I define email host user on my .env. So email host user, I'm setting the email host user. And then email host password, I'm also setting the email host password. And also the default from email, I'm setting that default from email. And then here I'm just passing config, getting these details. I like passing it like this because of security purposes. When I push this code to, let's say, a live server, I don't want to prevent those details over here. So if you want to learn how to use Python decouple and you didn't do that initially, you can check this series. I think I did it on video number 2 or 3. I configured that over there. You can check it out. But if you want to make it simple, you can just pass these details the same way I've passed them over here. It's quite simple. So the only thing here we're going to do is configure this email host password. So to do this, just go to Google and type Google account like that. I'm going to enlarge this like that. Type Google account, then sign into your Google account. In this case, it's the email you are using as the admin. In my case, you can see I'm sending in to my admin email, the one I'm going to use. In my case, it's otherme6223@gmail.com. Just sign into that account. Then here under search Google account, here search for app password. Search for app password. Then you'll see app password over here. Make sure it's this app password. And also before you set app password, I think it will opt you to set like a two-step verification. if it opts you to set that under security, make sure that you have that two-step verification, or it will not work. So once you are done with that, come here to Google account and then search for app password. Then go to app passwords. Log in to your email. Then here under app password, what you want to do is you want to create a new app password. Like in my case, you can see I've created two. I can just delete this. I don't want it. So here you can just create your app password. In this case, let's say your name is Kate. Or let's say Kate Store. That's your store. Just type Kate Store and then create generate. It will generate an app password for you. So once it generates that app password for you, just copy it. Just copy the app password. Then under email host password, this password we provided over here, paste that password. Make sure there are no spaces, like that. Now, if you're using Python decouple, the one like the way I said before, so you are going to paste that password over here, email host password. You paste that password over here. But if you're using this direct method, just paste the password under email host password like that. Yeah, once that is done, then the configuration is done. So just click done, and then you can just close that part. Now, once that has been done, then I think everything is complete. So I'm just going to delete this. It was for the purpose of demonstration. Now, once that has been done, then everything has been set correctly. So if I can just give a quick recap before I close this tutorial. Uh, like I said, the first thing you do is make sure you have a content.html that has the form whereby you are submitting the details that you want to submit. Then make sure under form you have the method post, and then also make sure you have a CSRF token to prevent that CSRF missing token error. If you don't have this, I'm sure you've seen that error. Then also make sure that you remember the name, or at least make sure you have this name input. You have this name, full name. You have the name, email, name, phone, name, subject, name, message, and any other name you may have on this form field of yours. And also under button, make sure you have a type submit. When we click submit, we are going to submit these details. Once that has been done, and you have also added this content.html, and you have converted it to a way that Django understands it, whatever the way you're converting it, create a URL to show this content.html. I'm sure you know how to do this. It's very simple. In my case, my URL is contact. Then I'm saying views.contact form, the view you are going to create, then the name contact. Now once that has been done, go to your view, create a view contact form. This contact form you're getting over here, views.contact form. You can see define contact form, and then make sure to render that contact form. So it's define contact form request, then you render it, return, render, request, then the path to your contact form. In my case, it's shoes, contact form, shoes, contact form. Once that has been done, the next thing now that is remaining is for you to create this if statement to get those details if the method is post. So just say if request to the method is equals to post, like the way I did it, like the way I explained it over there. You want to get the full name, you want to get the email, you want to get the phone, you want to get the subject, and you also want to get the message. These details, like I said before, it's these details: name, subject, phone, subject, message, email, and the full name. And then you compose a message to the admin. You, the individual receiving that email, you say message is equals to, I'm using a formatted string, I'm getting the full name, you get the email, or any other. If you only want to get like the full name and email, you can just get full name and email and then leave these other fields. But I want to get all the fields, so it's full name, email, phone, subject, and then the message. And then you also want to define an email subject, the one that will be displayed on that, like on that email banner. In this case, I'm saying it's new contact form submission from. Then I'm getting the name of the individual submitting that contact form. Then once that has been done, you want to send mail. You want to use the method send mail. Then the mail you're sending is the message and the email subject. So just type the way I've done it over here. Send mail, email subject, message, and then type in the your admin email. In this case, mine is adami6223@gmail.com. Make sure that these two are identical. Then by the way, don't use my details because I'm the one who's going to start receiving these messages. I don't want them. So then you we compose an email to the customer, and to do this we're using email multi alternative. And like I said before, make sure you import said mail, and also make sure you import email multi alternative. So here to compose an email, I'm saying HTML content. Then I'm using render to string. Use this render to string if you don't want to create a URL that represents a response email. So when I say render to string, I'm just going to get the content within this email. So that's why I'm saying render to string, then the path of that email. So it's email slash response email.html. Then I'm also getting the full name. Then I'm also passing a message and a text content. You can pass whatever message you want over here. Then to send that automated response, I'm using email multi alternative. The first thing I want to say to acknowledge is message received. Then the text on under text content, I want to send that text using this email. So this is my email, and then I pass that email. To be honest, I really don't know why I passed this email over here. I really don't remember what I did over there. Then you attach that message. So it's a message dot attach alternative. You attach the HTML content, and also you specify that this is a text slash HTML content. Then you send that message. So it's message dot send. Then if you want to test whether that message was sent successfully, then you can type these messages. Let's say messages to success, then you get request, then you pass the message telling you that you have sent that message correctly. Then after that, the only thing remaining is for you to redirect the user to where you want them. In this case, we are redirecting them to this page, and this page is contact. So I'm saying return redirect, choose, then contact. Now, once this has been done, make sure you configure these fields correctly. In this case, the email backend, the email host, the email port, the email use TLS, the email host user, the way I shown you, then the email host password, make sure you set it. You don't have to set this, we are going to use this later, so forget about this for now. These are the most important details. Now, once that has been done, you should be able to send that email correctly. So to just do one final demonstration, after doing that implementation, then this is what you should have. Let me just, I'm sure my server has stopped. Let me just refresh this. Once that has been done, you should be able to achieve this. Let's say first name, let me provide just a generic name, Iran, Israel. Your email, I'm just going to use my email, Klaus, Klaus43g at gmail.com. Then your phone, whatever phone number you have, let's say like that. Then subject, whatever subject this is sending, maybe I'm just going to provide something stupid, it's happening. Then message, it's actually happening. So when you click send message, then you see it refreshes, it comes to this page. Then me as the admin, I get that message from the individual who sent that message, then their details. Then the individual who sent that message, they get an acknowledgement message telling them that we have received their message, and we are going to get them to we are going to get to them as soon as possible. So I can just say what actually happening, please clarify. You can chat to the individual the way you want. I'm supposed to have already got the email, I don't know why. Yeah, like that. So you can chat with them. What's actually happening, please clarify whatever you want. Yeah, I think that's it for this tutorial. So next, on the next tutorial, we are going to do a normal email implementation. But in this case, I want us to do the subscribe part. When a user passes an email, I said they pass an email, then they click subscribe. I'm going to get that email, and I'm also going to send a message to them telling them something like, they say, thank you for subscribing. You're going to receive details from our company, blah blah blah. You know those stuff companies send individuals. So I think that will be interesting. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next tutorial.